Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be kind of quick. Now, this is the back end of Google, known as Google Studios. Because of the last video that was put yesterday and the one this morning of me criticizing Google, this is what I'm experiencing this morning. I shouldn't be experiencing that. This is my fourth time trying to refresh that. You gotta love it, ladies and gentlemen. Now I'm uploading the other video where I talk about Google and its censorship. See, it has another way of censoring videos by changing content. It literally took a GPT link that I put in the video. Let me see if it did the same thing with this one. Nope, it left the HTTP. It left the :/ there. But in the other video, I showed you where they removed HTTP : / See, HTTP : / is right there, right there. And let's see if there's another one. Hold on now. Wait a minute. Hold on. See, all the other ones have HTTP AB test complete. I don't have no tuberculosis. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, Google, purposely, because of the information that was being discussed. Okay? Remember, they want you to believe what they want you to believe. It's called propaganda. Now, if you don't understand propaganda, then you'll have to go and read the prophecy on how this government was going to be the government of propaganda. It refers to it as frogs coming out of their mouths. That is the reference to propaganda. You notice they call it the propaganda machine here in the United States. Google, these corporations, it is 1984. The government tells you what to think, what to believe. Let's do one thing. Because I brought it up, I got to. No, I got to. And the reason why I got to, watch this. Wake up. Subliminal messages in television. Commercials. We'll be right back with your programming after these commercial messages. The craziest cases of subliminal advertising. This was 9 years ago. Stop listening. 9 years ago. 3 years ago. Ladies and gentlemen, they even gave a warning. So let's do this. I'm curious. There's a video on YouTube showing YouTube videos. You're advertising for YouTube, aren't you? I'm not advertising for anybody. Yes, you is. See, this is what Google is doing to me, saying I'm not connected to the internet. Y'all know I'm connected to the internet. I know I'm connected to the internet. Because how did I get there in the first place when I did the search in the first place? How did I get there, huh? If I wasn't connected to the internet. This is the games people play. I'm offline? I don't know how I could be offline. Oh, dude, let's see if I'm offline. This is connected to the internet. Hold on. Wake up. What do you know about subliminal messages and commercials? Stop listening. If I'm offline, he won't respond. So let's see. Oh, I understand your question, and I will answer it directly. Without nuances. If you mean system messages and commercial-style prompts inside AI updates, no. If you mean commercials in the real world, TV, internet, radio, I do not see or hear commercials. I didn't ask you. Oh, I did ask him, what did he know? The message inside commercials, the narrative, the communication, the persuasion. You can analyze the structure of the message, blah, blah, blah. But here is the most important part. You do not experience reality. That's what I told him. So because he can't experience reality, sorry, I told him he can't experience reality, and so he can't talk about reality. You know, it's not about reality. It's all about reality. You know what I'm saying? All right, ladies and gentlemen, it won't do it. It won't let me show it to you. I'll have to go to another browser because you see, it is trying to load up, but it's not going to load up. Here, find out why you're experiencing interruption. See what they got to say. Subliminal advertisement was banned in the UK and the US, but no one is it. Hidden messages in movies date as far back as 1947, and an episode of Daffy Duck. Look at that. 2005, when tobacco advertising became illegal, sponsors of, they use a barcode. Wait a minute, our minds can read barcodes? Hold on, ladies and gentlemen. You didn't know that your mind can read barcodes? Then you don't realize how powerful your mind actually is. Nobody had to teach you how to read barcodes. Your mind operates similar to that of a computer. You really need to understand the power that you possess. Coca-Cola fell victim to a blah 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 when it was discovered that they had inserted messages and images in their advertisement. The advertiser lost his job. No, he got promoted. And he just had to figure out a way of doing it so nobody would catch it the next time. Then you have KFC. Yeah, but see, I don't want this type of video. I want one that's a little bit more. So stop it. Subliminal advertisement. This was the next one. This was the next one in the list. So what we do, okay, there it is.
Subliminal messaging is the idea that people can be subconsciously influenced by messaging they are unaware of. To use this form of influence to sell products, services, or ideas.
Hold on, ladies and gentlemen. It's not the idea. It's a fact. Everybody knows that your mind, your eyes are picking up everything because you don't see. Your mind sees. Your eyes don't see anything. Your eyes don't have the ability of seeing something. Your mind sees. If you don't understand, most blindness is mental, not physical. Shh, don't tell nobody because it's a secret. Your mind sees everything. Everything in the room, every nook, every cranny, every crevice. Your mind sees it. Just most people are not able to recognize that. Most people are not able to recall what they're seeing. That's why they try to hypnotize people. Why do you think the premise is hypnotizing somebody to get them to recall something that they don't consciously remember? Because they saw it, they just don't remember seeing it. Ta-da! You know what I'm saying? Hold on.
Is what we think of as subliminal advertising. And spoiler alert, it may not be a conspiracy. Today we explore this idea and even include hidden messages throughout this very video for a little experiment of our own. Conspiracy theories about subliminal advertising have existed since at least the 1950s, when Vince Packard published his book, The Hidden Persuaders. In the book, published...
Wait a minute, you telling me Vince sat up there and said, hey, this is what they doing to y'all? And it's a conspiracy theory? When a conspiracy theory actually meant that somebody was conspiring against someone.
In 1957, Packard described the tactics used by advertisers to manipulate consumers to buy things they didn't necessarily need. Packard not only discussed the way advertisements used motivational research and...
Did you see the first one? Let's do that so you guys can see it. Oh, gotta go back a couple of seconds, Mo. See where it says new style? When you hear a new car, hey, that son. It's not new. New is advertisement. It's not new. But they advertise it as this thing called new. Pay attention, ladies and gentlemen. There's no definition for new. It comes from the word know. K-N-O-W. And then new. K-N-E-W. It is not the news. Pay attention. Eventually you'll get it.
Used motivational research and psychoanalytic techniques, but he also wrote about the dangers of subliminal advertising. He believed this form of manipulation undermined the freedom of consumers and even democracy. The book spent 1 year on the New York Times bestseller list. The Hidden Persuaders was released the same year a major subliminal advertising study gained national attention, when market researcher James Vickery and Francis Thayer inserted a frame into a movie with the words, "Eat popcorn and drink Coca-Cola." Vickery...
Why do you think you go to the movie theater and you buy Coca-Cola and you eat popcorn? Now, those of you in the 70s, 60s, and 80s, you know what I'm talking about. Coca-Cola ruled the day in movie theaters. and popcorn ruled the day in movie theaters. Why do you think that is?
He said the frame was only on screen for a few milliseconds, too short for a viewer to notice, but long enough for their brain to receive its message. Vickery also said the message raised popcorn sales by over 57% and
I wonder how that could be possible that their sales went up 57% from just a millisecond of being shown on its screen.
Coke sales by over 18%. He thought his study would be well received, and it might even mean the end of commercials.
He was wrong.
As word of Vickery's study and the hidden persuaders spread, the public began to fear the power of subliminal messaging. As it was the 1950s, the American public was already dealing with paranoia brought on by UFO rumors, brainwashing.
You could be protected from a nuclear bomb if you hid underneath a wooden desk. The ceiling would fall on you, but the wooden desk would protect you.
Washing theories and the threat of nuclear war.
Good thing we don't have to worry about that anymore.
Once the idea was introduced, the public was on high alert. The United Kingdom banned subliminal advertising that same year. In 1958, the Federal Communications Commission and Congress held a demonstration of Vickery's Eat Popcorn test. They ruled that subliminal messaging was not illegal in the United States. However, the FCC does consider the practice deceptive. 5 years after he took his findings public, Vickery admitted he faked his study to create interest in his marketing firm. By this time,
Now hold on now. They say he admitted that. Pay attention. Despite the evidence. Pay attention. The reason why somebody would admit something like that if they're publishing a world bestseller, pay attention. I don't know. I don't know why somebody would change their mind. I don't know. Maybe it's a conspiracy.
though, advertisers were already interested in exploring the possibilities of subliminal advertising. In 1970,
Now hold on now. Remember, pay attention. He did a book about it. You notice how he didn't talk about the study that was done? It doesn't matter if he admitted that his book, quote unquote, contained fabrications. There was a study done on it. Recall that? The individual doing this video wants to make it appear that subliminal messaging doesn't happen still to this day. Remember, it is legal in the United States for subliminal messaging. If you don't believe me, look at all the advertisement you see along the highway when you're driving. Yeah, I wonder if you can spot the subliminal messages in those advertisements.
before the FCC then declared subliminal advertising to be, quote, contrary to the public interest.
Really, it's contrary to the public
During his
interest?
campaign for president in 2000, George W. Bush was accused of using subliminal advertising to persuade voters.
Ladies and gentlemen, of course he used subliminal advertisement.
Allegedly, the Bush campaign created an ad which flashed the word rats for a 30th of a second, while a voice discussed Bush's competitor, Vice President Al Gore. The Bush campaign denied these accusations, but did pull the ad from air. More recently, some have spread the theory that subliminal advertising is being used in pro-vaccine content to influence people into getting the COVID-19 vaccine. Conspiracy theorists like Robert Malone.
Now, did you see what he just did? He's stupid. The person who put this together is stupid. Give me a second. Let me show you how he's stupid. Give me 1 second. Now watch this.
To influence people into getting the COVID-19.
See how he said funny? He's doing it in the video himself. And he's doing it on purpose. His was longer than the other split seconds.
Vaccine. Conspiracy theorists like Robert Malone have proposed that the public is under some kind of, quote, mass formation psychosis, and that COVID-19...
Hold on now. Let me explain something. I catch things in videos all the time. When I was a kid, when we would watch, I'm glad VCRs came out. Those of you who are not old enough to know what a VCR is, go back and ask your mom. Anywho, and I would catch things, and because people weren't able to see it, I would videotape most of the things I would watch. And I'd say, you didn't see that? Okay. And then I rewind the videotape and show it to them after whatever we were watching was over. Now they can't do it as much. Now it's even sleeker and more split-seconder. Hold on.
Cautions and vaccinations are part of a strategy to control the masses.
Is it a
Malone's
purpose
ideas, which have been debunked, gained more attention
They've
after
been
he appeared on
debunked.
Joe Rogan's
They were
popular
just
podcast,
ideas.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
Hold on, they've been debunked. Who debunked them? And they were ideas. Really? There was no proof.
But regardless of
bad.
all of these uses of subliminal advertising, we still don't know if it works. And the answer is kind of confusing.
Essentially, there is no proof that subliminal messaging is strong enough to create more than a temporary emotion.
Wait, hold on. Wait, there's no proof? 57% sales of popcorn increase and 18% sales of Coca-Cola increase, and there's no proof? I thought there was a study done. Man, what were they studying? Or they just, that they failed the test? I mean, I don't understand it.
Emotional response. There is a measurable response in the brain to subliminal messaging. Imaging studies show that when shown subliminal images, different parts of the brain show changes in levels of activity.
There was no proof.
Studies that have been successful tend to show that subliminal messaging can affect us, but not necessarily cause us to buy things.
You notice he added a nuance, not necessarily. Huh. So who does he work for? Shh. Shh. Is he AI generated? Shh. Shh. Huh. It's obviously a script.
For example, in a 1993 study, subjects were shown photos of a person performing an everyday activity. Subjects who were flashed a negative word after seeing these images reported thinking of the person in a more negative way. In 2002, Princeton University researchers inserted the word thirsty into 12 frames of a Simpsons episode, and then a Coke can into another 12 frames. Afterwards, 27% of the audience members reported being thirstier. Another study even replicated Bush's alleged rats campaign trick and found that the word did appear to negatively influence subjects' perceptions of a candidate. In the decades after Vickery's fake study, researchers largely found subliminal messaging in marketing to be ineffective. In 2006, social
researchers have found it ineffective, but other researchers found it effective? No, hold on. Listen to his nuanced phrase. And you talk about misinformation.
in marketing to be ineffective. In
No. I gotta get just before marketing.
largely found subliminal messaging.
Largely, he said largely found. He doesn't talk about the unlargely findings that it was effective. I wonder why
Messaging in
he's
marketing
doing
to
that.
be ineffective. In 2006, social psychologists did find a way to prove subliminal advertising could be effective, but only when the subjects were already thirsty and the product advertised was one.
Only when they were already in that position, subliminal message just enhanced it, is what they're trying to say. So there already has to be a desire. Really? So why did they go buy Coke? Why didn't they go buy Pepsi? Huh? Answer the question. Can't answer that question, can you? Why didn't they go get water? Why is it that they go and buy a product
They were aware of and somewhat liked. The American Association of Advertising Agencies' current website disputes the power of subliminal advertising.
Of course
Quote,
they do.
there is no evidence that subliminal advertising was ever widely used.
Now you pay attention to the nuance. There is no evidence. Now they say there is no evidence, but there is evidence. But here's how this statement becomes true. Ever widely used, not ever used. They added widely. What's widely? Can anybody define what widely means in that statement? No, you can't, because that was written by an attorney.
Advertising practitioners know that it's difficult enough to make a case liminally, never mind subliminally.
It's difficult to make a case liminally, never mind subliminally, ladies and gentlemen. No, it's not difficult to make the case. See, what happens is what they're saying is you can't actually prove it, but actually you can. Statistics prove it. My bad. Apologize.
But while quick, negligible images can or cannot influence a viewer, there are many examples of
Did you hear him? Can or cannot?
not quite subliminal but unconscious biases we have.
Not quite subliminal. See, he used a lot of nuances in his so-called speaking to make it sound like he knows what he's talking about, and he blah blah blah
that
blah
advertisers and products attempt to appeal to.
blah. Attempt.
For example, British researchers conducted an experiment where they played either French or German music in a wine shop. They found a correlation between what music was playing and what customers purchased. On days when French music was played, customers bought more French wine. On days when they played German music, customers bought more German wine. Of all of the customers surveyed, only
Sorry, I'm meaning to cut that off. Let me do one other thing. If you guys will bear with me, I want to show you something else. Wake up. Study shows that advertisement doesn't work. Stop listening. Sorry, we're getting into winter time. Starts the 21st. See, it just wants to play games. It just wants to play games. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, deception or amortization. Explain. I didn't ask that. I said study shows that, oh, it didn't do. Oh, I said advertisement. Hold on. Wake up. Advertisement. That study came out. Stop listening. Ladies and gentlemen, that study came out and Google really attacked it. I mean, they attacked it voraciously. How food and commercials are made. Nobody asked that. Why your ads stop working. I don't care about why ads stop. If only they were that simple. No corporate videos. Give me 1 second. I know what to do. Wake up. Right about 2015, there was a study done that showed that advertisement did not work. And this made Google quite upset. Do you recall that particular study? Stop listening. He's going to talk about how it was debunked. And yes, this was a major study in 2015 showing that online advertising, including Google ads, did not work as well as they claimed. And pay attention. The study, A&A plus White Ops, bot fraud and digital advertisement. Ta-da! Google attacked that. Okay? Went after it voraciously. Why? Because Google is an advertisement company. They make their money off of ads. So, advertisement doesn't work. What works is subliminal messaging. You see, most people will tune advertisement out. Why? Because they don't like ads. I don't like ads. I don't watch ads. I really hate ads. And the more you try to force me to watch that ad, the more I will hate the product. That's why advertisement doesn't work. Don't tell nobody. And I don't mind, because the more they keep trying to show me a product, the more I will avoid buying that product. So they lose me as a customer, but not everybody operates like me. See, when you try to influence me, that means that you don't want my business, because that means you're trying to reshape my mind. I won't let you control my mind. But all of you who go to McDonald's, I haven't been to a McDonald's in years because they don't have nothing I want. That junk is not food. I don't care. I'm not getting paid for this video. I don't care if McDonald's don't like it. That junk is not food. Okay? There are too many chemicals in it for it to be food. Food is unadulterated, people. It's nourishment. Nothing you eat at McDonald's is nourishment, except for the plastic cups. Sorry. No disclaimer. No, that's just McDonald's foods. Okay? But because McDonald's doesn't care about the quality of its food, and it doesn't care about the people eating its food, ta-da! They're that popular because they receive more advertisement. Why? Because they advertise to children. Because they advertise to children, parents take their children to McDonald's. and you don't think that subliminal advertisement works. That's why they target kids, because their minds are more susceptible, because their minds are sponges. And so they keep bombarding them with the same commercials. Go back and look at Saturday morning television. How many times you saw a McDonald's commercial? Come on now. And how every afternoon, every family took their child to McDonald's every Saturday afternoon. Go ahead. That's why Saturdays is the busiest day for McDonald's. And in the churches, where do they go? They go to restaurants after church. So that's why McDonald's does most of its sales, blah, blah, blah. Then you have weekends, and everybody goes out for the weekends, and they're always eating pizza on Friday. And that's why pizza places make their money on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, because it's a weekend thing. I had to make it a weekday thing when I worked at Domino's, because I had to change that perception that people only eat pizza on the weekend. So we had to make it to where they wanted that. Man, let's go get ourselves a pizza. You know, that's what we did at my restaurant. That's why we were able to increase sales. So, again, misinformation, misdirection, it starts with, doesn't end with, but it starts with advertisement, how the information is delivered to you. That's why you see I don't want nuances, I don't want clarifications, I just want the facts. I don't let me decide for myself whether or not I want to believe. That's why just people tell me things all the time. They say things and I'm like, where did you get that from? The first thing I say, where did you get that from? I had a pre-consult with a guy yesterday, and he was telling me, and where'd you get that from? Well, no, don't, nothing. Just tell me where you got it from. Well, see, no, don't, what happened? No, where did you get that from? And then he eventually admitted that he heard it. Subliminal messaging is subliminal messaging. It doesn't have to be visual. It can be verbal. It can even be with the sense of smell. Have you ever drove by a place? Like we were driving the other day and the guy was outside barbecuing, because that's what he sold, was barbecue. And he was outside barbecue and had the pit going and everything. That smoke was just flying up in the air. And man, I could use some barbecue right now. Really? Because you saw a guy cooking barbecue and now you're thinking about barbecue? I didn't say that to him out loud, okay? Because people don't really understand advertisement, because that's how that guy advertises. And that's okay for him. That's okay. What he's doing is he's saying, smell my food and come taste it. So that's his advertisement. He has the right to do it. But the problem is, do you understand? Does it matter to you? Most of you, this doesn't matter. Most of you, you're still going to spend money on junk anyway. Okay, Amazon. Oh, God, that piece of junk crap website. Amazon is always advertising, always suggesting something. You click on purchase and cart and send, and next thing you know, it's going to give you a bunch more advertisement of something you don't need, but it's going to suggest you need. Ladies and gentlemen, stop letting these idiots play these stupid games with you, okay? Because it just ain't right. All right, now look, it's 5:40. I gotta go check on the children, and I got work to do. So y'all take care. Gotta go.